And what Listing Optimizer is, it gives you automated audits of your content. So what is in the listing that you have across your entire portfolio. So instead of you having to sit there and go through each individual listing, you can connect your properties to Listing Optimizer and then get a full breakdown of the properties, how they look on Airbnb, and then what their scores are as well. So,
welcome to RevLabs by PriceLabs.
hi, everybody. Welcome back to RevLabs powered by PriceLabs, a podcast for revenue managers and revenue management professionals. My name's Kyle Driskell. I'm a senior solutions consultant with PriceLabs, and I'm happy to be your host today to talk about smarter revenue at scale. We're going to spend this podcast today talking about what has changed with PriceLabs. What have we seen that's changed in the market as well? But really, how has PriceLabs adapted to what we saw that changed in 2025 and then what we see that's coming up in 2026? And there's lots of things that have changed in 2025 in the markets. Some of the things that we're going to talk about today is how quality matters and how we have to make sure that we're paying attention to hyper local data rather than looking at broader data. So, to kind of get us started today, I want to talk about our agenda first. In the first portion of this podcast, we're going to be talking about the market shifts that we saw in 2025. Then we're going to discuss how PriceLabs responded. And then we're going to talk about what we foresee in 2026, not just in the market, but also with our tools at PriceLabs. Now, the number one trend that we saw in 2025 was that quality truly determines pricing power. And what I mean by that is if you have a five-star property, you're going to be very, very highly regarded in all of the algorithms on OTAs. The better properties are the ones that are really winning in the market. And I shouldn't just say better properties. The people that are really managing their properties well are what's winning in the market right now. So as we can see on the graph here, if you're in the United States and you average a five-star review, on average, your average daily rate is going to be $225. That starts to trickle significantly once you even hit 4.9 stars. We get down to about $200. So really about 10% of a drop just by going from 5-star to 4.9 stars. Now, if you're going to less than 4.5 stars, unfortunately, you have to be priced very economically to try to save yourself. So we see on average about $169 ADR for folks that are in that less than 4.5 star range. Now, internationally, we see this impact very, very heavy, specifically in the UK and in France. There's not as much of a drop from 5 to 4.9 stars if you're in Spain or in Italy. But in France and in UK, there is a big difference. So with France, we're looking at going from $140 for a 5-star property down to about $110 if you are a 4.9 star property. So what PriceLabs has done to really, really help this aspect is we've come out with a new tool, and we actually brought this out at the DARM event just this past month. But we won the DARM Battleground Judges Award for the best new, I guess I should say the best new tool or the best thing that we've come out with in 2025. But what that is our listing optimizer. And what listing optimizer is, it gives you automated audits of your content. So what is in the listing that you have across your entire portfolio. So instead of you having to sit there and go through each individual listing, you can connect your properties to Listing Optimizer and then get a full breakdown of the properties, how they look on Airbnb, and then what their scores are as well. So if you're watching along with the video, you can kind of see that we've got a score here for you. You've also got rankings. If there's enough properties in your market, we can determine your rankings. Now, you'll also notice that we've got some tags in here so you can help, or we can help you identify maybe who you want to market to. This first one we're looking at right here, you can see this one's really good for large groups, pet owners because it's pet friendly, and then adventure seekers. You're wanting people that are wanting to go out and be close to the ocean. Whereas if you go in here and look at this one that's downtown, that's actually going to be more so for families with young children. Then when we come down here, you've got another one, families with young children, couples, and leisure travelers. So people that want to stick around for a little bit and just enjoy the cool vibes for you. Now you can also see you've got a full breakdown over here. Now, most of the people that we've got over here are performing pretty well. And there we've got a C in the review count. And if I wanted to see what that is, I can just come over here, hit View Insights, and I get a nice little breakdown of everything in here. Now, I'm not going to spend a ton of time because this is a podcast. I don't want this to turn into a sales thing. But inside of here, you can go down to the USP and target segments area. And this is really, really beneficial information. So this is your unique selling points. So even if you don't want to take exactly what PriceLabs is suggesting as your description, you can come in here and craft something with these very, very unique selling points. Absolutely love this. And I think our PriceLabs customers are going to see that this is a absolute necessity once we get into 2026. Being optimized is huge. That's a big portion of the revenue generation formula, so to speak. Obviously, rates, minimum stays, check-in, check-out dates are a big portion, but you got to be seen, and Listing Optimizer helps you be seen with that. What we're hoping people are able to achieve with this Listing Optimizer is one, get higher click-through rates. So obviously that's gonna switch over to better booking conversion. And then also we're gonna hope that we're helping you get stronger ADRs by making sure that we are optimized, that you are visible, and that you are using those unique selling points to increase that ADR without us going in and changing up the strategy too much for what you've got. Now, next up in the trends that we saw that scaling is really, really hard as well. So when we talk about the number of guest favorites across certain segments, we can see that the United States has 37% of Airbnb's guest favorites, but large property managers with over 100 listings, they only bring about 10% of those. So out of that 37% globally that the US has, about 10% of that 37% is going to be from large PMs. Most of these guest favorites are coming in from smaller individual hosts, smaller mom and pop type shops. We get into the international market and we see an even bigger gap here. So for France, 28% of guest favorites on Airbnb are in France, but only 2% come from large property managers. So again, kind of the same thing we see with Spain. We're at 19% of the guest favorites, but only 3% come from large property managers. So scaling is very, very difficult, especially as you get bigger, and maintaining those 5-star reviews is increasingly difficult. So we're hoping that Listing Optimizer comes in and helps you out with this as well. So just a little breakdown of this. It's going to suggest stronger titles. You're going to be able to compare to top performers. You're going to be able to prioritize listings and detect visibility issues. And you're going to be able to do this across hundreds of listings very, very, very quickly. You're going to get clear, actionable recommendations that's going to help you with your visibility and that conversion as well. Now, the next trend that we've picked up on is just kind of across the board. And again, on average, travelers are booking a little bit later. For the most part, across the United States in particular, the booking window has shrunk. So if we're looking here at the visual that we've got up here for July of 2025 across the United States, the average booking window in 2024 was 34 days. This year it was 29 days. All that's telling you is that booking activity is coming in a little bit later on average. But it's important to understand that national average does kind of mask what's happening at a hyper local level. So what we've got up here right now is a couple of different major cities in the United States and what their booking window was for June, July, and August, or I'm sorry, how it changed. Now, if we're talking about a city like Chicago, that booking window compressed. We saw about 2 days come off of that. So people booked a little bit later on average. Orlando, we actually saw it extend out. Same with San Diego. So they added a day to it. Now, I think it's important to understand that these national averages include bookings that do come from far out. So you're getting bookings that are way out in advance. You're still getting a lot of bookings that come in last minute as well. So that average does include bookings that are far out. The properties that we were talking about at the beginning of this, the ones that are really achieving that 5 stars, sticking around 4.9 stars, they have a really good opportunity of still getting bookings further out But if you have a property that's more of an economical type of a unit, or maybe it's, doesn't have too many fancy frills or anything like that, you're probably going to expect those bookings to come in a little bit later for you. So, what we are looking at now with PriceLabs is we've redesigned a lot of our stuff to help you with this. One of the main things we've redesigned is our mapping to make it even easier for you, as well as our competitor calendar. So we want to make sure you're able to be in your tool, be precise, make faster visual refinements, and ultimately be able to have really good visibility into the pricing of your competitors. So real quick, I'm going to hop over into PriceLabs and I'm going to go over here to a dummy listing that I have. And this one's in Breckenridge, Colorado. And I'm going to come over here to the neighborhood data tab. And once I click on that neighborhood data tab from my listing, that's going to pull up a lot of information for me. Give it just a second as it loads, but I'm able to see future prices and occupancy. I'm able to see, as again, occupancy, the market history right here as well. But where we're talking about specifically is this wonderful little map right here. So what we're looking at right here is Breckenridge, and we're looking at the 4 bedrooms because I'm comparing 4 bedrooms. And we can see that that is hyper locally focused. So only the 4 bedrooms that are right in there. We're not getting into Silverthorne. We're not getting into Dillon, Colorado. Those other areas in Summit County, we're sticking right there on the Breckenridge Mountains. So we can see all of that information right here. And when I get down into this competitor map area, you have a great way of visualizing what your customer, what your competitors are going to be charging. So you can see we've got the cleaning fee here, what their fee structure is, but you also have the ability to see exactly what that guest is going to pay now by clicking here on guest prices and then observing lengths of stay. So without getting too granular with this, the way you're going to use this as a calculation, if I look right here and I see that that is $2,272, and I've got a length of stay of 4 nights, that means that if this person right here booked a 4 night stay that starts on Tuesday, I'm at 2272 times 4. So my total for this person's booking would be $9,088. That's what they're going to see on Airbnb when they go into checkout. Very, very helpful for you. This is going to continue evolving in 2026 and just be even easier for you. So hopefully you don't have to do that calculation. This will be here there for you though. So very excited about this. Some of the really good things about having this dialed in is we should end up with a lot more accurate pricing decisions. Knowing what that all-in price is going to be very, very crucial for us getting into 2026. It's going to become really important. Also, it's going to give you more confidence in being able to benchmark against competitors and then get insights into how they're performing as well. So hopefully this will also help you rely less on some misleading market-wide information. There's a lot of data sources out there that look very broadly at markets, and what PriceLabs is trying to do is opposite of that. Let's dial it in and look very, very specific. Now, we're going to move on just a little bit, and we're going to talk about another trend that we've picked up on. And this is that the event demand is showing up much earlier this year. We've got some really, really nice events coming in globally. Obviously, we've got the Olympics coming in Milan. We have the Super Bowl coming in Santa Clara, San Jose, San Francisco area. I don't know exactly where it's at, but somewhere in that area. And then you've got the FIFA World Cup coming to North America as well. So what we've got up here, you can see for Milan, 100 days out from the start of this, they were at 3% booked last year for the same date. Right now we're at 21%. Super Bowl, same thing. That Santa Clara area last year was only about 2.5% booked, even though those teams haven't been announced yet. 15 to 16% of the market's already booked up. When we look at specifically Mexico City for the World Cup, we're seeing that we're at about 10% booked, whereas last year we weren't even at 1% booked for those dates. So events are super, super important. If you're relying on a manual pricing strategy, you're not going to pick up on these events the way you should. If you're relying on other tools, You may or may not. You might have to actually go in and program these into your tool. It's not something you've got to do with PriceLabs. We have a full team that's going in and measuring these out, picking up on demand signals, and getting ahead of things very, very early for you. So, what we hope that you can pick up with this is one, we want to make sure that we're able to guardrail ourselves and protect ourselves, not just with pricing and having pricing high, but we want to make sure we've got the right minimum stays and that those minimum stays are protecting us here. So, minimum stays is the next topic for us, and I think it's one of the most important ones. And what PriceLabs has developed is kind of the first in the industry. And what that is dynamic minimum stays. So, we talk a lot about dynamic pricing. I think everybody knows about the airline industry, short-term rentals, hotels, but PriceLabs now has dynamic minimum stays for you. You can find that right over here from customizations and stay restrictions. And once you've got that, you can click on select a minimum stay profile, and you've got PriceLabs recommended for short-term rentals. Now, all you need to do is come in here and say, what's the lowest minimum stay I'll take for my weekdays? What's the lowest I'll take on my weekends? What's the lowest I'll take if I have a gap between my two bookings? And just as an example, I'm going to put two as my minimum here. And now I can look down through here and see that PriceLabs is building out an entire minimum stay profile for me, not just off my data, but off what works in the market right now. And there's also some other little caveats in here as well. So we can see that it has adaptive occupancy adjustments, which means, let's say you've got a 5 night minimum stay and you've got it set up in here as the recommendation, but your listing's not performing. You don't have any bookings over the past 15 days. You don't have any bookings over the past 45 days. This will automatically adapt down one for you to try to get that booking for you. Now, on the same note, these are adjusted for your events and your holidays. So, as a quick example, we'll look over here and I will say for July, if I'm looking to book far out, I want to get 4 nights. But if I'm booking within the next or within a month of July, I'm only going to be going for 2 nights. But if there's a big event in July that dictates that we could still get 3 nights within that 1 month, it will have a 3 night minimum stay for you. So PriceLabs is going to adapt. It's going to really prioritize high demand dates for you, and it's going to ultimately work to get that minimum stay right in line with where the market needs to be right off the bat. This is something that we introduced in, I would say, early 2025, very, very quietly, but we've refined it, made it a great, great tool. So now going into 2026, we're going to have something that's really nice at our disposal. With that, we're going to switch back over and we're going to hit one more topic that I think is really, really important. And we're kind of done with our trends, but I want to talk about what's coming in 2026. So we know that having a listing near the top of the market is super important, but it's also important, especially as you are growing and scaling, to be able to communicate well with your owners. So we're introducing owner analytics. It's currently in beta testing. A lot of our customers that have been long-term with us have access to this and are trying it. But this is going to be the ability for you to go in and really benchmark, use a white label branded report to reach out to your homeowners, keep them informed. You'll be able to customize and say what metrics you're sending to them. That way, if their ADR is down 80%, you don't have to tell them that, but you can craft a message and really, really get that communication line going with your owners. It's going to be key in 2026. There's a lot of competition with large property managers. You want to stay on top of your owners and make sure nobody's snaking them from you. Now, the second thing that I'm really excited about in 2026 is we are going to start working in search-based insights. So meaning if you have really, really good traffic for your direct booking websites, we're currently working on a way to bring that information in to help us spot issues ahead of time and to try to figure out maybe if there's an issue before a booking gets lost. Is our pricing too high? Look at things like that. So I'm really excited about search-based insights for our customers that are on coastal areas, Hawaiian customers, anybody that has a lot of direct traffic, they're going to benefit greatly from this, I believe. And then we also have even more improved goals and forecastings available in our report builder tool. So you're going to be able to integrate your forecast, whatever goals you have for the year, and keep track of those across the tools. So you're going to be able to sit there and say, all right, it's March. I'm at 22% to my goal. Do I need to make a move? All of that stuff's going to be right there for you. So really, really excited about those. And then I believe that's about it for us today. So I'm looking forward to 2026, not only as a PriceLabs employee, I'm really looking forward to seeing how our customers perform in 2026. There's a lot of cool things coming out. We only hit a few of them, but 2026 is going to be a really good year for PriceLabs. So love having you be a listener for 2025. Hope you stick around with RevLabs powered by PriceLabs for 2026. And if you ever have any questions for us, reach out, support at pricelabs.co. Always happy to help you. Have a happy new year. Well, I say happy new year. I'm recording this on the 30th of December. I think it's coming out January 8th. I hope you have had a great start to your new year, and then we will reconvene very soon. So have a wonderful day. Thank you again for joining us. Kyle signing off. Bye-bye.